Look guys, I know I'm a complete beginner to Tarkov and I shouldn't be giving out any advice or tips, but I've been there and I'm still there. What's there, you may ask? Well, it's the Tarkov grind, the wall, the keep going or give up moment in this game. I think I'm near the end and I just want to help you new players out with some advice on what to take into raids so you don't screw up so many times like I did. Alright, let's get into this. Okay, so welcome to my first ever Tarkov guide. It might help some people out, I'm not sure. It might be a totally garbage video, but anyway, here goes. So for any new player coming into the game, like I have the Edge of Darkness edition, so I have this big gamma container. So yeah, I don't know what yours is going to look like, but if you have the Edge of Darkness edition anyway, you will have this gamma pouch. I think the other one is maybe a 2 slot. I'm not sure. I've only had this edition, so yeah. Anyway, you're gonna look something like this, just not with this armband maybe, and you will have a fully loaded stash already. So let's start with guns. At the start, where I messed up is I kept taking all of my best weapons in on my first raids and stuff, and I would lose them right away because, you know, I'm new to the game. If I started out again as a new player, what I would do is go in with a gun that you have in your stash that is lower value and kill a few scavs or something. Get used to that gun. Maybe pick up a scav gun and try and use the scav gun more. Say this is a scav gun. So when you have it on your guy like this, you can inspect it and see the durability. Scav guns are normally way lower durability, so that's then prone to jamming or weapon malfunctions. So what you're going to want to do is come here to the repair, and you can just repair your gun like that. And then you should have, well, not fully working gun, but like if it's, I think it has to be over 91 and then it won't jam. I think anything under 91, it will jam and malfunction, so just keep that in mind. But then when you have a scav gun, it doesn't matter if you lose it, right? That's what I should have done at the start of the game. And now another thing with your gun here where I kind of messed up is check your rounds. That this right here under the ADAR 2-15, these are the rounds that this gun will fire. Okay, so for example here, this is 5.56 by 45 NATO, and we look here, this FMJ is a 5.56 by 45, and you can load it in there like that. And now, what you could make the mistake of doing is this AP rounds here, 300 blackouts, they actually also go in there. So you can just load this up like that, go into raid, and see here, this ammo is incompatible with this weapon. Maybe you didn't see that. You go into raid to try and fire this gun. It's not going to fire. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you're always checking what the gun fires and then loading the magazine with what that gun fires. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Okay, moving on to body armor. Always bring body armor in with you. Even if it's just a packer like this, that's still better than nothing. Even before the first videos that I've made on Tarkov, I tried to go in with no body armor and bang, I'm dead. Scavs can just one-tap you, players can one-tap you. It's crazy, so make sure you bring in body armor that is like essential. Don't forget that. If you think you just want to run a quick raid with a pistol or something, or like a scav gun, well, yeah, you can do it, but if you come into close contact with an enemy, then you're probably going to lose. I know this armor isn't the best armor, but it's still something. So yeah, if you have it, use it. Okay, let's move on to the earpiece. So here, I've got the M32s here just because I have them. So you're always going to want to use headphones, just like armor, body armor. You're always going to want to bring in headphones, because sound is key. There's no spotting in this game. The only way you're going to know where players are is with sound. If you hear someone first before they hear you, then you're probably going to end up winning that fight. Moving on to headwear, helmets and such. So actually, see this here, I cannot use this helmet with these headphones. This is a good example right here. So actually, because I only have this helmet in my stash, I actually would go in with no helmet, because, but say if I went in with, if I just took off this and used the helmet, now I can't really hear anything. I've done it multiple times where I've been into a raid with no headphones, and it is terrible. You don't even know where the sounds are coming from. So I would honestly rather prefer taking headphones over a helmet sometimes. Actually, all the time. Alright, moving on to face covers. I honestly think face covers are nice to have, and they're worth it. So, let's see if I can show you guys here. Okay, so from far away, this is a kind of bad thing to see, but from far away, if you see this guy's bald head like this, his white face, I think it would stand out pretty well. Say if you were lurking back in the shadows and you had this balaclava on like this and it's black, it'd be a lot harder to see than that bald white head. So yeah, honestly, if you have them, I would use them all the time, anytime. I also do want to throw in here the armbands, because this can really help you. I guess that only applies to you if you're with teammates or friends or whatever. So yeah, I'm running an orange armband because I'm normally playing in a duo, sometimes trios. It just helps you identify your teammates, especially when you're new to the game. You can't really tell, say, if your friend is holding an angle, you run into the building and there's someone looking at you, it's your friend, he's covering you, but you think it's another player, you can shoot them back. And if you say you didn't see the armband, I don't know. I think it has helped me a lot to distinguish my teammates, especially in the start, but I just thought I would throw that in there too. Okay, let's talk about rigs now. Rigs are pretty essential. You're gonna need them like every raid. Like there is an odd time where I've actually gone into a raid like completely with nothing, and then I've killed a scav and took their rig just because I haven't had one. But yeah, that happens. But if you have the rig in your stash, then yeah, I would take it in. And you're gonna want a rig with the most slots possible if you have it. So here's a Zook, and then MPPV. This is one of my favorites here. You can see all these slots here, and now you can put your ammo, your magazines, your grenades. You can put items in there, you name it. Now, what's special with the rigs and also the pockets while we're here? Let's bring pockets into this. So when you're in raid, say you're running or you're walking down a street with your rifle out, you can say have this cheese in here, and you can bind this to like key 4, and then when you're running or moving or whatever, you can hit key 4, and without bringing up your tab menu, your inventory if you like, you can just start using that item. So if you have it in your rig or in your pockets, it'll be down here. As long as you equip it, you gotta come over to the item like this with your mouse and hit the number you want, 4, 5, 6, like that. And kind of the same for magazines too. If you have your magazine in your rig like this, let's say we have 2 in here like this, so we have 3 magazines total. You reload, it's going to eject this magazine, put it right here, take this magazine, put it in. If you have your magazines in your backpack, you're going to have to press tab, go into your inventory, and then manually reload your rifle or your gun. That's not good. That's not efficient. Anytime you have to press that tab button, go into your inventory, you're at risk of being shot and killed. You're a sitting duck pretty much. And another thing I want to quickly point out, because this has happened to me before, say for some odd reason like your rig is completely full like this and you go to reload. So what it's going to do is drop a magazine on the ground, because it cannot put this magazine into the rig. It's going to drop it on the ground and then grab this magazine. So just be careful of that. If your rig is completely full and you reload, look on the ground, because your magazine is going to be on the ground. Just keep that in mind, because that's happened to me a lot, where I go to reload, it drops my mag, I don't notice it, and then I go to pack a mag when I'm in a safe spot, and then I'm like, I had 3 mags, where's the other one? So yeah, just keep that in mind. So if I just unequip my rig, now what else I can show you is, so we have body armor right here, and I've just selected my rig. These are my rigs. Conflicting slot body armor. So this is a rig and body armor at the same time. So if I get rid of that, now I can use this. Drag this over to my rig slot. Now I can use this rig, which is actually body armor as well. As you can see here, it's an armored rig, Flora. So yeah, can inspect it, and we can look down here. We've got chest, back, neck, and groin armor in this rig. So this is actually a really good rig or armor to have. I mean, it doesn't have the slots, but I personally like the having the body armor and the rig separate. But I mean, if you don't have that, this is your next best thing. Okay, now that's rigs out of the way. Let's move on to the backpack. So once again, me being a noob at this game, I would always sometimes overlook the backpack just because they didn't have one, and then to buy one, they're pretty expensive. So I would always just not go in, and then I would loot and fill up my rig, and then I'd be like, well, damn, there's so much loot left, but I don't have any room. You could always pick one up off for a player or a scav if you're lucky enough, but yeah, I would always bring in a backpack. So I have all these bags here, but they are full of stuff. But anyway, this can even just be an example. Even if you just took in this little tiny army bag, that just gives you so much more space. So you find some valuable stuff, that's money right there. That's money you could be gaining. If you don't bring in that backpack, then you could be losing money. Alright, so with all this said and done here, well, I know these aren't the right magazines for this ADAR, but this is just as an example. So we're going into a raid, we have our gun, we have our headset, we have our face cover, we have our rig. Say we got our ADAR mags in here, we got our grenades and stuff, whatever. We got our backpack ready to go. And now the next thing you need to think about is meds. If you get hurt, you need to heal. This is the most important, one of the most important things out of anything is your weapon and your meds. So what I was doing at the start of the game was just putting all my meds in my backpack. Stupid crap like this. I'd just put everything in my backpack. I'd die. I'd lose my CMS, my serve, or my IFAC, my AFAC, my car, whatever I had, I would just lose it all. I didn't realize that I should be putting it in my gamma, because say you go into a raid, you last a minute, you die, you lose all of those meds. And meds aren't cheap. Well, at the start of Tarkov, the med system is extremely overwhelming. Well, for me anyway, it was. I didn't know what to use until I got help from people and asking people what I should be bringing in. So let's start with a CMS or serve kit. So I don't have a CMS on me right now, I just have the serve kit, but yeah, the CMS is a little bit smaller. It's a 2-slot and it's 5 uses. This one's 15 obviously with a 3-slot. So if you get a blacked out limb, say someone shoots you in the leg, you have 0 out of 65 on your leg, and that means your limb is blacked out. You're going to need to do surgery. That's what they call it, surgery. So you're going to need a serve kit or a CMS. That's what these are here. So you're going to use that. It's going to fix your leg. Then you can bring over your car or your AFAC and use it on your leg and get it healed all the way back up. So yeah, you need to bring a CMS or a serve kit. And then you're going to need something for a heavy bleed. I've been using the S-March, and I normally put that in my pocket. So then I would bind it to like 4. So say you get shot, you get a heavy bleed, you can just hit 4 right away, you start patching up that heavy bleed. Another thing you're going to need is something to fix a broken bone. So that's being an aluminum splint or a regular immobilizing splint. So you can use either or. See, this regular splint here is just a 1 use. The aluminum splints are 5 uses. So I would use the aluminum splint if you have it. Or if you want to use up these splints first, go ahead. But you'd put those in your gamma, because if you had them in your pocket and you died right away, then you're losing that 5 use splint. So I would just personally keep those in your gamma, if you have the room anyway. Okay, next, you're going to need something to stop light bleeds. So you've got your heavy bleeds here, your S-March, and then you've got your broken legs sorted out here with your splint, and you got your blacked out limbs sorted out with your surgical kit. So let's do something for our light bleeds, your cuts and stuff. So you could use IFAC or AFAC. So if you click on the IFAC here, for example, you can see here that it stops light bleeds. It takes 30 HP points from this bag. So it'll take 30 out of the 300. And also, if you look over here, it stops heavy bleeds. Oh, so we don't have to bring the S-March, right? No. It takes 210 points from this bag. That's not good. You could turn this bag into a 1-use item if you use it for your heavy bleeds. Try to refrain from using the AFAK or the IFAK for your heavy bleeds. Sometimes you get there where you have nothing else but your IFAK or your AFAK. So you say you got into a fight before, you used your S March, now you just have your IFAK. Well, yeah, you're gonna have to use it if you want to live, I guess. But just keep that in mind. Heavy bleeds takes 210 points from this bag, and light bleeds are only 30. Okay, moving on to pain meds. So right here I have Analogen painkillers and this Golden Star Bomb. This is also a painkiller. So this is 10 uses and this is 4. Because this is a beginner's kind of loadout guide I'm making here, I'm just going to stick to these. There's also there's another one, I think it's just called Vaseline or something, but it's a 5-use one. This one's way more expensive, so if you see the Vaseline too, that's a bit more expensive. So I would just use up your Analogen first. And you can just hotkey this too, say to 5 or whatever. So then, say you get hit, you get broken legs or whatever, you can then move again. Because when you get your broken legs, you can just barely walk. So you hit that 5, you pop a pill, you're able to like kind of sprint again. And anytime you get hurt in Tarkov, your guy kind of gets stunned. But if you're on pain meds already, that won't happen. You'll be fine. So this is a really important thing to take into a raid with you. Okay, so this is the first kind of way I would go into a raid with my pain meds set up like this. So 4 or 5, maybe I would actually have this on 6 here for healing. And now there is another way you can do this, which actually I've started doing, but just because I have the Grizzlies, and it won't require you to have the S March or the IFAK or the Splint. You just need pain pills. But this only works, I would only do it if you have this gamma pouch. Is you use the Grizzly with the serve kit or the CMS and then the pain pills. Because the Grizzly, what that does, or what it can do, is light bleeds, heavy bleeds, it can heal broken bones, and it can also just do your general healing as well. So this is a really good thing for anyone new at the start of the game that doesn't understand the healing at all in this game. You can just click on this bag and use this bag and it will cover everything except for pain meds. Like I said before, I would only use the Grizzly if you have this gamma pouch. There's no sense using it, running around in a raid with it in your backpack, because it's going to take up room where you could have loot. And also if you die and you lose this Grizzly, well, that's a huge medical bag there that you've lost. They're pretty expensive. But it is a really good thing to have at the start of the game. I wish I would have known in my first couple raids that this did all of the healing. Because then I would have just done that. I would have used them all and then moved on to my Salewas, my cars, my AFAKs, and my IFAKs. It's just a lot simpler because you're trying to learn the mechanics of the game and you don't want to be thinking about healing really in your raids. When you're getting shot up in your like first raid, you know, you can just click on this and it does everything. You just got to remember to have your painkillers and your serve or CMS. And then let's just quickly go over. So you say you're using this gamma pouch. We can just go over what else to carry in here. What I carry anyway. Now that I'm kind of learning this game a little bit. So I would have my mags up here, my rig. And then say I'm running M855 in my mags. So what I would carry, say these are full or whatever, these are already fully loaded mags, and then I want to have some spare ammo. I always keep my spare ammo now down in my pouch because I don't want to lose that, especially if I'm running expensive ammo. I just don't want to have that loose ammo in my pockets or my rig or my backpack and then lose it, because you're losing money there. Another thing I always do as well is keep some money in my gamma as well. This is how I would run it right now as a beginner player, because I have been using a lot of vehicle extracts, especially on ground zero. There's actually a task too, I think it's called burning rubber, and it tells you to take the vehicle extract, and that is in a good spot too, because there's another mission, or there's another task where you have to get the hard drive from the terror group building and then escape with it. So the vehicle extract is placed right next to the terror group building, so you can quickly go in, get the hard drive, go to the vehicle extract, and get out. But you got to make sure you have 5,000 rubles. I normally carry like 20,000. I'm down to 8,000 here, but yeah, I normally carry around 15, 20,000 rubles. just to make sure, especially if I'm running in a duo or a trio, in case someone else doesn't have the money, I don't know, just for some random reason they didn't bring any money and we want to use a vehicle extract. That's how I would set it up. But yeah, I hope this helped. I don't know if this is gonna help. Maybe I'm just talking a load of crap, but this is how, if I knew this in the future of me starting this game, I would have set myself up like this and I would have done a lot better, I think. But yeah, anyway, if you have any tips for me anyway, that maybe I've missed something, just let me know in the comments. Then you can even help me out even more. But this game is so challenging. There's so many different things you can do. There's so many ways you can set your meds up, your rigs, your backpack. You can have so many different armors, helmets, headphones. But yeah, you get it anyway. I'll just end this video here and we'll see you in the next one.